All right, so welcome back, everybody. So in today's video, we're gonna be going over the Warzone Season 5 best settings for my console people. Now, I did this for PC, but I kind of forgot to do it for my console people because I'm not on console anymore. And also, this is the last one we're probably gonna do of this version of Warzone, unless they do like something big for this version. But this is pretty much the last one we're gonna do for this Warzone 1 or just regular Warzone, I guess, before the new Warzone 2 comes out, because this is the last season of this regular Warzone. And yeah, man, it's a little sad. It's a little sad, but hey, yo, I'm asking for one thing and one thing only. Drop your boy a like button. It does help out this YouTube video and go a long way so more people can see it, and it just helps me. So thank you. Now let's get into these Warzone settings. First, we're gonna go over our controller settings. Now, I personally play tactical flip, which is tactical, which I basically slide with the right stick, makes it easier with slide canceling and stuff like that. And then I play flip, which I shoot with the top bumpers, which makes it more responsive, faster. I just have to click it instead of having to hold it down all the way down. Little bit of like a delay that might help you get that kill. And you know, there's many other ways you could either go. If you like default, you can play default, or there's other ones like bumper jumper tactical, stick and move, and these other bumper ping tactical flip, which you shoot with you ping with L2, you use the lethal with R2. Yeah, that one's a little weird. But hey, you never know. You could be a demon in one of these other ones, and you never knew. So try that out. Stick layout preset, I have mine to default. Don't mess with that. Invert look, don't mess with that. Dead zone, left and right stick, you kind of want to have at the same thing, but this is different on everyone's controller. So my dead zone here is not going to be the same for yours. It's all about your controller, how much stick drift your controller has. Now, every controller has some sort of little bit of stick drift, and in order to test this out, go into a match and make sure that both of these are, just try out with a simple one at 0.10. You're at 0.10, line up your crosshairs with a certain part of a wall or something, and if they don't move, then you lower it. And if they still don't move, then you lower it. The lower the better. And let's say it moves at 0.5 a little bit, right? But it doesn't move at 0.6, then 0.6 is your perfect dead zone for that controller. But let's say you have some major bad stick drift and you're at 0.15 and it's still moving by itself, then you want to scrap that controller, get a new one, because that controller has too much stick drift and it's not going to be accurate playable to play with. So kind of hope that makes it a little easier to understand. And then for max dead zone, you want to put this all the way to the max. You want to max this out. The only one that matters really is the minimum. Now for sensitivity, I personally play on A8 on 80 FOV, since I already played 120 FOV finally. Going back to 80, it's not as bad, but it's with the sensitivity, I actually play on a lower sense on PC since I do see more, and since on 80 FOV on console, you can't really see as much. So you actually want to have a little bit higher sensitivity. Either between 8 or 10 is a kind of a sweet spot for me. That's what I like. Custom sensitivity per zoom, you can do the sensitivity per optic if you want to do that. I personally do mine at 0.85. Kind of makes it a good accuracy. It's a little bit slower than normal, but it's nice and accurate. Aim response curve, dynamic. We all know this is the best one. Linear for my snipers, and standard. Yeah, I don't really recommend standard. Just either dynamic or linear if you're sniping. Disable vibration, gas mask, toggle. I personally was not a fan of this one. I thought I was gonna like this setting, but in game, to go into the inventory, then you have to click the button. I feel like it kind of takes too much time when you're in the middle of a gunfight or things are going on. I'd rather just have it do it by itself. I don't know, it might be different for you, but I personally don't like manually doing it. Yes, sometimes it may come out clutch, but most of the times it doesn't. Aim assist, I have this to standard. This is normal. These are kind of just normal settings that you don't touch. Contextual tap, where you pick up things fast when you just click the button. Extra square, delete ammo, weapon switch, I have this to enabled. Armor plate behavior, apply all. It makes it easier. You don't have to be holding triangle or Y whenever you're plating up. You just hold it once, let it go, and then it finish plating everything up for you. Slide behavior, tap is better than hold. If you want more of a you don't accidentally want to be pressing it by accident, then do hold. But I think tap is just faster when you play with tap. Auto move forward disabled. Tactical sprint. This doesn't matter if you have automatic tactical sprint, which I recommend for everybody now because everyone it's a sweat. Everyone's good. So automatic tactical sprint is the best way to get around the map. Move fast. Best for slide canceling, and to get good movement, you need automatic tac sprint. Vehicle camera recenter. I like to recenter it myself, so disabled. And then parachute auto deploy disabled. Next, we're gonna go to our graphics now. Safe area. You want to have this to the smallest, so you can see the map closer to your eyes, so your eyes don't have to travel all the way to the top left of the screen. I know, but it really does come a long way. That small little bit of advantage. Camera movement all the way to 50. You don't want that little bit of weird shakiness whenever you're moving, so put it to the least. World motion blur off. Weapon motion blur on if you're on PS4 and you want to get smoother gameplay, a little bit better frames. You enable this. It's just the blur of the weapon hand motions, not the actual world motion. So I actually like this one. So the enabled, like I said, for PS4. Film grain. Put this to 0. You don't want that weird grain thing going on in your screen. Dismemberment, I have that on. Brightness, you should only have this at 50. I've seen people that have this all the way at like 70, or their game looks horrible. It looks all white. So that's an important one to make sure that your game looks good. And then on-demand texture streaming, if you do have an unlimited data cap on your internet where you don't have no cap, they won't charge you if you go over a certain amount of usage per month, then I do recommend having this on high quality, especially if you have really high internet speeds. Then yeah, put this to unlimited. Your game will look a little bit more sharper with better textures. But sometimes it may make you kind of lose a little bit of packet loss, maybe lose a little bit of ping, lag a little bit. So I personally just recommend disabled, but you do have that good internet, then high quality I recommend. Game looks a little bit better. Subtitles disabled, all that's kind of regular. Color, blind, type, I have mines to Deritonopia. I've always had it to Deritonopia. It's kind of like the disabled version, but with just more saturated, more juicier colors. So I like that. Make sure to have it on both so you could actually see it in game. Tooltips enabled. Square minimap, enable rotation, compass, letters, yada yada yada. This is kind of just regular. Close by station on purchase. I like this because the menu closes right away. So when, let's say I buy my teammate, boom, it closes right away. And then default to focus on the first loadout item in a loadout drop. This is basically when you open up the loadout, the first loadout is always going to be automatically selected. If you don't want this, you can disable this, but I personally sometimes make the mistake of accidentally clicking the loadout that I didn't want. So that's why I keep it to enabled, so I always know I'm always up there. I know how to scroll up really quick to get to the loadout that I want. Let's say I'm using another loadout and I have this disabled, then whenever I go to pick the loadout and I know the other loadout was on the bottom of the first loadout, it's gonna kind of trick me, so I leave it to enabled. That was a little complicated to explain, but yeah, this is almost a little weird. Text chat, this kind of just normal profanity filter disabled. And then in-game icons, enable all. Now this audio is huge. Now I personally did make some big, not big, but some adjustments to my audio this time around. With boost low, personally best for footsteps. Master volume 27. My game does get a little loud, and I kind of have control over in my OBS here, so it's a little different for me. It all depends on your headphones. If your headphones, you can't hear anything on 30, 27, then you go up to 50, 60, 70. But you don't want to have everything too loud where it's going to blow your eardrums out and you can't hear footsteps. You kind of want like a nice middle in between master volume. Music volume, I have this to 0. Dialogue volume is one that I actually just turned down. It actually helps me with hearing footsteps because I'm always hearing the game. I'm not always hearing, the commentator, UAV, yada yada yada, cluster strike, whatever's going on. I had this to 5. I can hear them a very tad bit, but it's not overlaid over the actual game audio. And then effects, this one's a big one. You want to have effects on. This is where you hear just like any other. So if you hear someone reloading across on the other side of the room, then you hear that. And that's basically what effects is. Juggernaut music off. Hit marker sound, I like it MW. And then mono audio, only enable this if one side of your headphones work. If both ear cups work, then you want to have this disabled. And voice chat enabled. This kind of just regular stuff. Voice chat, word tracks disabled. And that is pretty much it for the console settings, the last one for this year. One more tip, if you want to get better colors, is you go to accessibility, you go down to display and sound, and then you go to color correction on PS5, and then you could actually add more of a filter to your game. So I have a color filter, the Retinopia, the same one that I have on MW. I kind of put like a 25 to 30% intensity. You can add way more, but if you do, it's a little too much. So you can kind of play around there with that. If you want Trinopia, you can have that. Protanopia, grayscale if you want to do that for some reason. So you can kind of play around with that a little bit. I like that they added that for PS5. So yeah, y'all, that is pretty much it for these console settings. Let me know what you guys think about these settings, the last one for this year. And yeah, y'all, take care of yourselves, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.